Hi, my name is Kamari Junior Wallstreeter Chisholm, and this is the first episode of the Junior Wallstreeters Financial Literacy Podcast. In future episodes, I will be joined by my dad, Kevon the Black Wallstreeter Chisholm, who is the founder and executive director of our nonprofit called Junior Wallstreeters. During this podcast, we will go over financial literacy basics, such as how to become financially literate, how to invest in the stock market, and all things that deal with money. I'll be bringing on guests from different backgrounds and telling stories from my experience as someone who has been investing in the stock market for over 7 years. Junior's Wall Streeters mission statement is to provide financial literacy products and services designed to address the wealth gap by increasing the financial knowledge and skills of individuals and families from historically underserved and under resourced communities. We achieve our mission by providing different types of programs and camps, including financial literacy and investing, introduction to cryptocurrency and digital platforms, and introduction to real estate investing. Here is a video that gives more information.
Imagine a world where every kid knows how to build wealth and break barriers. At Junior Wallstreeters, we're more than a nonprofit. We're a movement. Our mission? To make sure every young person, especially in underserved communities, learns the skills to manage money, invest wisely, and build real wealth. From summer camps to hands-on workshops, we teach everything from budgeting and saving to stock market investing and cryptocurrency. These aren't just lessons, they're tools for life. Our programs boost confidence, spark curiosity, and inspire students to dream big no matter where they start. Founded by a father and son, Kevon and Kamari Chisholm Junior Wallstreeters aims to close the racial wealth gap, one empowered student at a time. Ready to help a young person unlock their financial future? Support our cause, spread the word, or enroll today. Junior Wallstreeters, because today's investors started yesterday.
But let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kamari Chisholm. I'm 18 years old from Virginia, going into college this upcoming August at Hood College in Maryland to play baseball. It is a small D3 in Maryland, about 1,000 students that I will be joining to pursue my dreams of making it to the MLB. But along with that, I am also Kamari Junior Wallstreeter Chisholm, and I help my dad with his nonprofit Junior Wallstreeters, where I help teach kids as well through stock tracking, where they help track their stocks that they are either purchasing or that they've already bought or that they're thinking about purchasing. And I help them track them and learn how to follow them to make sure that you're not losing a lot of money, to make sure if you're gaining a lot of money, how do we gain more? To make sure if we're losing money, how do we not lose more? And to overall be better well off. We have envelopes that are save, spend, and give that we also promote, where when you get money, you need to realize where you're going to put it. Are you going to save your money and not spend it until further down the line? Are you going to put it in your spend envelope where you spend it right now? Or are you going to put it in your donate envelope where maybe you donate to a charity, maybe you donate to some friends or some people in need? So those are the three main envelopes that we also promote. But a little bit more about me. I got into investing when I was around 11 years old, which is about 6, 7 years ago. But I was watching a YouTube video, as a lot of kids do, still do, and I saw a nice shiny Lamborghini. And I was like, yeah, when I'm old enough to drive, when I'm 16, 17, I want that car. So after I was done watching the video, I went up to my dad and I said, can you please get me that car? And he was like, I can't get you that car, but when you're old, but I can teach you how to invest in the stock market. So when you're old enough to drive yourself, maybe you'll be able to purchase the car. So since then, I've been interested in stocks, the stock market, building wealth, keeping wealth, informing others the information that I've been blessed to receive. And I've been going about it in different ways. It's definitely been a journey of ups and downs through my process, Well, overall, there's lots of improvement to be done, but I'm happy to where I've came from. So, how I started with the money originally, um, back in seventh grade, I won a speech contest. I did a speech on Jackie Robinson, and I tied that into my baseball career, us both being African Americans, and the struggles that he faced compared to some of the struggles that I faced. And I put a lot of emotion and time into the speech contest, and I was blessed to get third place in the whole challenge, third place, which granted me $250 as a reward. And my dad said that he doubled the money. So I was blessed to start off investing with $500, which is a lot of money to start off at. And I understand some people aren't going to have the ability to start off with that much money. Some people might have more. Some people definitely might have less because 500 is a lot to start off at. But we can also talk about other ways to make money to get started off the ground because with the money that you are going to invest in the stock market, you want to have that money able to lose. I was young, so money wasn't much to me. But now that I'm older, if I got a check for $100 and that's all the money I have, I'm not going to invest that in the stock market. Because after a couple bad days, a couple bad weeks, that $100 could suddenly turn into $0. It could suddenly turn into negative 20, or hope maybe it can turn to 500. But that's not smart to put money that you can't afford to lose in the stock market because it's not a guarantee that it's going to go up. If you invest smartly, you're patient, and over time, there's a good chance that the money can go up, but it's not a guarantee. So you want to set off aside a portion of money that you're willing to lose into investing. Now, if I gain $100 a week, maybe I need to put 20 aside, and by the end of 5 weeks, I have $100 to invest. Maybe I want to put 50 aside. It all depends on you, but you want to make sure that you're not putting important money in. You don't want to put your grocery money in the stock market because after a bad week, you're not eating. That's just the truth. Everyone wants the stock market to go up, but it's not linear. It has its ups and downs, just like life. And you need to be smart with how much money you are investing and where you are investing that money into to make sure that you're keeping the money. You're most hopefully gaining money. Hopefully, you're building wealth, but also you could afford to take a hit because this is not gambling. You are not putting all your money on black, hoping to double it. This is smart. You're thinking behind this, long thought processes. You're smartly investing your money to build wealth over time. I didn't put $500 in the stock market and then I woke up the next morning and I had $500,000. It's not a quick overnight money scheme where you're doubling, tripling your money. You want to make sure that you invest smartly. So over weeks, over months, over years of period of time, you are doubling, tripling your money. You are making more money so that you can afford a hit here, a hit here, step back, a hit, because you know that you've been smartly invested enough to know I can afford a hit. And the money's not do or die. Obviously, we care about our money, but if we trust the process and we're not betting or we're not putting in very important dollars that we need to live, we're putting in money that we can afford to lose a couple of dollars. We can afford, sometimes you have to be okay to lose a couple $100 because at the end, you might make 1,000. But how I started was I got that $500 and I started investing in the stock market. Not right away. I started tracking my stocks and watching stocks. Now, some people ask me, how long should you watch a stock for? How long should you track a stock for before you actually buy it? Sometimes you have hunches. Sometimes stocks are hot and you need to buy it yesterday. Sometimes stocks are cold and you should wait a couple weeks. But a good rule of thumb is you got to keep tracking it minimum a week. If you have a hunch and you want to go after a couple of days, I wouldn't recommend that, but you also have to trust your gut sometimes. How I started, I always tell people to start off looking at invest in what you know because it's easier to follow, and easier to track, and easier to be involved in information that you're investing that you know. If if I eat at McDonald's every day, maybe that's a spot I would like to start looking at to invest. If I eat at Burger King, if I eat at Chipotle, or it's like certain places that you go to, Target, Walmart, like these are like places that some people go to, bi-weekly, every week. If you're going to these places, that's a good place to start at looking at to invest because it's easy for you to be involved. I play sports, so I'm a look at Dick's Sporting Goods. I um, I'm also interested in watching TV. I'm also interested in basketball, baseball, these different sports. So it's going to draw me and draw my attention to first checking those out. I first looked at Dick's Sporting Goods, and because I play sports, Dick's Sporting Goods wasn't doing well. Just because I play sports and I go to Dick's Sporting Goods every now and then, doesn't mean I'm going to invest my money in Dick's. If it's not a good purchase, you have to put your bias to the side. If it's not a good purchase, it's not a good purchase. So I started looking at similar stocks to Dick's Sporting Goods. Started looking at Zoomies, which is a clothing brand located in malls. It was one of my first purchases, and I don't regret it. Zoomies had a period of time that we'll talk about. It went up and down. COVID took lost a lot of people money in the stock market. Um, Thankfully, about 4 to 5 years removed from that, some of those losses have been recovered. But you want to start there. I don't personally shop at Amazon a lot, but my dad does. Some people in my family do. So that was a good place for me to start looking at. I couldn't afford Amazon at the time because it was about $1,000 $2,000 per share, and I was just starting off where I had $500. So my dad told me about ETFs, which are exchange traded funds, which is like a basket of stocks under one roof. So this ETF I was looking at, and I still own to this day, was QQQ. QQQ owns a bunch of stocks, big stocks that you probably know: Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, um, Google, Alphabet, um, Microsoft. They own a lot of big stocks, and we'll also talk about earlier this year and about a year ago when AI took off. QQQ was doing extravagantly well because they own like Meta, Microsoft, even Google. Meta took a big jump because ChatGPT and all these AI companies started skyrocketing. So when you own an ETF that owns a percentage of that stock, and that stock does well, then you will also benefit. So ETFs are a good purchase if you can't afford stocks outright. If I really wanted Amazon, but I couldn't afford it outright, so I decided to purchase an ETF that owned a percentage of Amazon. And if Amazon does well, I'm also going to benefit. Now, the other stocks that the ETF also owns are very important. So don't just buy a stock that owns one. Don't just buy an ETF that owns one stock that you like and ignore the other, tens of stocks that are also under that same umbrella. Because if you like one stock but you don't like the other nine, then there's no reason for you to purchase that ETF. It's just not going to be a win-win situation. Um, but also, as a kid, I learned early to diversify my portfolio. And some people hear that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Similar to what we talked about earlier, don't bet all your money on black because that's not a smart investment. If you get red, you know you're cooked. So you want to be smart with the money that you're putting in. I had $500, but I didn't put all 500 of my dollars into QQQ. I didn't put every single dollar I had into one stock or even one ETF. So if that ETF or that stock has a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, I'm losing money. So it's very important to diversify your portfolio. If I feel confidently in the stock or ETF, maybe I'll put majority of my money in there, but I'm not going to put all of my money there because that's just not smart. So I learned to get other ETFs, other stocks that I thought were doing well. I also owned Target, which is a retail store, and Target's unfortunately taking a hit. But it's important to diversify your portfolio, especially when you first get started and maybe you're still learning some things. And at the long run, it's going to make sure that your dips and your hits are not as bad. But also, unfortunately, those big jumps you get are probably not going to be as big. But we're going to make sure that we diversify our portfolio to make sure that we're settled and ready for the long run. So after this um, part where I started purchasing stocks, that's why I started teaching people about stock tracking. I started teaching people my age, people older than me, about how to track stocks, which is where you write the date, you write the stock symbol, and you write down this specific day. Today's July 2nd. I'll write what the stock did, if it went up $2, if it went down $2, and then I'll keep tracking over multiple days a week. I suggest 3 to 4 days a week um, to suggest before you purchase a stock, and even when you do have a stock. So if I'm looking at buying, let's say Walmart, for example, I'm gonna track it for a couple weeks, and then I keep seeing, okay, it's jumping $1 every day, or it's up at 10, 20 cents every day. All right, now it's time that I might want to purchase this. I've seen multiple good signs. I've read multiple articles. I've read multiple reports on this stock, and I think that would be a good purchase. So I'm going to purchase it. I'm not just going to go blind. I'm not going to say I've purchased things at Walmart before, so I'm going to just buy Walmart. Walmart might be doing horribly, and Walmart might be running out of business soon. So you just put money into there, and you're about to lose that money. So it's important to track your stocks over a couple of days, a couple of weeks, until you feel confidently about it, and to read analyst reports on that stock, read articles to see which way that stock is trending, to make sure that you're fully familiarized all about the stock before you dive headfirst and you purchase it. Now, purchasing a stock is stressful because that is your own money, or in most cases, somebody's money that's very important to you that you are putting on the line. So, getting as much confidence as you can behind every purchase is very important while you are tracking your stocks. Now, fast forward to last year, me and my dad actually were blessed with the opportunity to go on Good Morning America. Roll the clip.
Now, celebrating fathers who go above and beyond. Well, this morning, we're highlighting one man who made it his mission to set up his son for success, and they teamed up to help future generations. For Kevon Chisholm, fatherhood is a privilege.
I grew up without a father, so I know I'm not perfect. So I'm like hands-on. Let me see.
At a young age, Kamari bonding with his dad over baseball. But at 11 years old, something else also piqued his interest. A Lamborghini he saw on YouTube.
So I just went up to my dad and I was like, can you get me that car? And he was like, I don't know if we can personally get you that car, but we can show you how to invest in the stock market so that maybe when you're old enough to drive yourself, that you can afford the car for yourself.
I grew up in a financially illiterate environment, and I did not want him to have that same experience. It's important because adults, even adults in our communities, don't have this knowledge. And a large percentage of our community is either unbanked or underbanked.
In 2018, the father-son duo founded Junior Wallstreeters, a nonprofit organization offering online financial literacy courses.
Since the sales are up, that means the earnings are up.
We cover basic financial literacy. We teach them the difference between a regular bank and a credit union. Understanding credit ratings, budgeting, the importance of having an emergency fund. But then we teach them about investing in the stock market.
I truly do believe in this program, and I think that it definitely was an impactful experience for me.
It actually opened my eyes to all the different things that I could do with my money.
It feels good being able to teach people and impact so many lives. I couldn't do it without my dad. He taught me everything I know, and he gave me the ability to, pass it down to younger generations.
His love, though, and pride in Kamari is what really is the center and the foundation of Junior Wallstreeters.
I'm here now with Kevon and Kamari Chisholm. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. It's amazing what the power of Lamborghini will do for you, right? Get you motivated to make some money. Kevon, you spoke about growing up without a father in your life. So in what way did that motivate you to be the father that you are?
Well, we grew up growing up in a single family household was really difficult. I saw my mom, we experienced a lot of hardship, and I did not want Kamari to go through that. I was going to be there for him, determined day in, day out. And I wanted to prepare him for the world financially, materialistically, as well as I can. And I was determined to do that.
And you've done that. You've done just that. And Kamari, I'm curious, did you save up with what you learned from your dad and from these lessons to get this car you're waiting for?
Yeah, I had enough money for a car, but as I grew up, I realized I didn't need to spend it on a car. I could drive one of my parents' cars, so I used the money to fund my baseball career.
Well, let me tell you right now, use your parents' stuff as long as you can until they take it back. And you talk about your baseball career, and we know you too. You bonded over baseball. You love baseball. So, we have some friends over at Major League Baseball. Have you heard of that league before, yeah. MLB? Where they're getting tickets to next week's MLB at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, for you guys. And it's all in tribute to the historic Negro League, which existed before baseball integrated, as you guys know. And it's a 3-day event. It starts June 18th, capping off with a game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants on the 20th. So what do you guys think about that?
That's great. Wow. We're excited.
All right, you should be excited. We're excited that you're here. Thank you for sharing this. I love seeing this father-son bond on this coming up on Father's Day.
Thank you guys for watching. Good Morning America was very fun to be on. And I'm excited for the next episode of the Junior Wallstreeters podcast, where we have my dad, the Black Wallstreeter Chisholm, on as our first guest. Stay tuned and stay educated. If you want to learn more, go to our website, www.juniorwallstreeters.org, to learn more.